Why is it that if you're a business owner, you have to follow every rule to the letter, but when the government investigates you, they can drag it out for years with zero accountability? Today, we're exposing a bill that could finally flip the script and make Washington play by the same rules they force on the rest of us. Stay tuned. This one changes everything.
Transparency Act requires the EBSA to report annually to Congress on investigations in enforcement status, right? The report, which will not include the names of any private parties, will include the office that opened the investigation and how long it has been open. I'm curious as how you think how this bill would help your organization's members determine whether they are being treated fairly or not, right? Because we have all these different regionals, and the sharing of information isn't actually there, and we all know some of these cases are opened way longer than 36 months. So I'd like to know whether how you think this legislation would help in terms of the employers. Mr., you can all answer if you like.
Yeah, I think that level of transparency can be immensely helpful. There was, a number of questions today about the timeliness of investigations. One issue, and I don't represent a trade organization, I'm just a private attorney, but often in investigations that we're involved in, there's no closing letter. So the department makes a decision. We're going to close the file, and my client never hears about it. So, again, it's one level of transparency to make sure that everyone understands that there's a investigation and it's closed with no results. That would certainly be helpful.
Why would anyone oppose that?
I personally do not know.
Okay. Thank you.
So thanks for introducing the legislation as well. We support it for a number of reasons. From a transparency standpoint, obviously our member companies would benefit by being able to see, for instance, which regional offices are pursuing what kinds of cases. It helps us on the front end, our members on the front end, sort of identify those areas where maybe we really need to be looking. From, not to get out of my lane, but from an appropriations perspective, I would think it would be absolutely vital for you to have all that information as well. In particular, to sort of address concerns about, whether budget cuts, how, if there were additional funds, where those monies would actually be spent. I think that's, it's not obvious to me that they would all go to benefit advisors.
Right. It might help us too regionally on which regions are doing best practices, and maybe we could learn from those regions, right? I mean, if we were transparent, we could say, oh my goodness, this region's doing really good. Maybe we could learn, instead of trying to get stuff done, we could actually get stuff done. But I'll let you respond.
Thank you. If I might, I would say we've heard a lot about how your bill would supposedly disproportionately tax the resources of EBSA. But I would have to say that issuing an annual report that inventories the open cases doesn't seem overly burdensome to me. You probably have on your own staff more open constituent casework that you have your staff track for you than EBSA does in the entire agency on an annual basis. So just the issuance of that type of a report from a management perspective, I would suspect our members would benefit, because it would cause a lot of those cases to be closed when they otherwise would just linger on for years.
I'm also curious, would it safe to say that the standards in which you hold your members to in terms of compliance, right? I had a business. We actually had more people in our compliance department filling out forms and filing, to be in compliance than we did actually have in customer service. But if we hold your members to certain standards, don't you think it would be safe to say to hold the government agencies and all these agencies to the same standard?
Yes.
Whoa, what a concept, right? Anyone disagree with that?
No, it's in fact, part of the sort of feedback that we've gotten from our members is that, particularly in these investigations, for example, the turnaround in document requests, right? Provide everything right now.
Right, I'm the employer, I gotta give you everything right now, but once I give it to you, well, you can take as long as you want. Correct. Seems a little unfair, doesn't it?
It does.
I would add to that.
Welcome back to Jace Manhwa. Before we get started, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown of the truth the mainstream refuses to talk about. Now, I just watched this hearing and I've got to say, this is exactly why Americans are losing faith in government agencies. We're talking about the EBSA Investigation Transparency Act. Finally, a piece of legislation that would force the Employee Benefits Security Administration to do what every private business in this country is already required to do: be accountable. This bill would require EBSA to report annually to Congress about investigations, how many are open, which offices are handling them, and how long they've been sitting there collecting dust. No private party names, no confidential info, just basic transparency. And guess what? The opposition doesn't want it. Here's the problem. If you're a business owner in this country, you have to comply with every regulation immediately. You miss a deadline, you pay. You mess up a form, you get fined. But when the government is on the clock, suddenly there's no deadline. Investigations drag on for years, and employers are left in limbo, paying the price while Washington bureaucrats take their sweet time. This bill would change that, and it's about time. One of the witnesses even pointed out how ridiculous it is that employers often don't even get notified when an investigation is closed. Imagine that. The government investigates you, wastes your time and resources, and then just disappears without a word. Meanwhile, every single year, you're required to report whether or not you're under investigation on your insurance forms. That's more money, more paperwork, and more unnecessary stress for job creators in this country. And the beauty of this bill? It doesn't just help businesses, it exposes how these agencies are run. Congress would be able to see exactly which regional offices are actually doing their jobs and which ones are wasting time. We could finally identify the offices that are getting things done and hold the others accountable. But of course, some people claim that would burden the EBSA. Burden them? These agencies already track their cases internally. This is nothing more than publishing what they already know. This is common sense. If businesses are held to strict compliance standards, the government should be held to the same, if not higher, standards. No more double standard where the private sector is punished for inefficiency while the government coasts with no consequences. This is exactly why we need more legislation like this. Stop letting bureaucrats hide behind closed doors. Stop letting Washington drag its feet while small businesses pay the price. If anything, this bill doesn't go far enough. I'd say publish even more data. Let's see which investigations are closed, how long they take, and how much taxpayer money is wasted while cases linger for no reason. If we want accountability, if we want government agencies to work for the American people instead of against them, then this is a step in the right direction. We've been letting these agencies get away with too much for too long. And I guarantee you, if this transparency bill passes, it'll scare a lot of these bureaucrats because for the first time, they'll actually have to answer for their performance. So what do you think? Should the government be held to the same standards they force on businesses, or should we keep letting them operate in the shadows? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Jace Manhwa, and hit that notification bell. We are just getting started.